Howdy howdy, this is Crafty Running back again with a arena cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today I jump into round 1 results for the Korg and MODOK arenas, then jump into some round 2 predictions. So first let's take a look at the results. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new all-time high for the 5-star feature first round now. Arena cutoff with Korg going to 57 million. Previously, the title holder was Infinity War Iron Man at 56 million. Now he does still have the all-time high, which was at 59 million for the second round, but in terms of a first round title, that now goes to Korg. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in round 2. Then when we take a look at the 4-star feature arena, you can see that his cutoff was 13.7 million. And lastly, with MODOK, an unexpected low 1.82. So yeah, that number came in a little bit lower than I thought, at least. And a lot of folks in the community as well, who I was touching base with his, before MODOK was 2.7, 3 million, that kind of range for his cutoffs. But then again, those cutoffs weren't too long ago, so maybe we're just seeing a little MODOK fatigue, which has kind of dropped those cutoffs. But anyway, in terms of how my predictions went, for the most part, was right around the ballpark again. A little bit lower, just out of the 10% range for the 5-star feature, with the 4-star feature right on target there, with just a little bit above, but within 5%. And then lastly, MODOK, like I said, I expected that number to be a little bit more similar, albeit a little bit lower, but still similar to what we saw last time around. I guess everybody has MODOK. So anyway, for the most part, all of these were real close, and in the case of the 4-star feature, we were really close, right? Almost exactly at the cutoff. So what about round 2? We'll start off first with the 5-star feature arena, looking at some past arena results for new champs that had some pretty decent high cutoffs. You can see with Iron Man again, 56, okay, maybe it's 55 million in that first round, but then went all the way to 59, which is currently the number. But the most important part there is you saw an increase. Even though those numbers were high, there was still an increase between round 1 and round 2. Domino was 40 million, so kind of a lower number for her first round, but then everybody realized how decent of a champ she was, so those jumped up all the way 8 million in the second round to 48 million. And lastly, even with most recently Heimdall here, came in at a high 49 million, still, since he's a decent champ, even went higher in the second round of 50 million. So as you can see, in the case of all 3 of these that had pretty decent numbers, they all went higher in the second round. Now, jumping over to the 4-star feature arena, the good trend that you see here is that it looks like a really steep decline. It's just look at the actual numbers here. There's not a big y-axis here, just a small range. So that's why the decrease looks so significantly lower. That trend dropping, but in reality, there's not a big difference between these different rounds. But again, the key here is in each of these cases, round 1 is lower than round 2. So something to keep in mind. And if you look at you're talking $1 million for Iron Man increase between round 1 and round 2. You're looking at 300,000 for Domino, and most recently with Heimdall, we saw about a 200,000 increase. So those increases are that increase is definitely smaller here recently, but still an increase between round 1 and round 2. And then we look at MODOK with some recent, now believe it or not, these are low interest 4-star basic arenas, which is that 1.82 would indicate. And then when we look at Ancient Venom, Nightcrawler, and Loki, that are very similar, like in that 1.9, 1.8 range. In most cases it dropped, except here recently with Loki it increased 100,000. I think with MODOK, I think a lot of folks, because he still has some value in Alliance War, you'll still see some people go after him, knowing how small the first round was, even though, again, he did come into the arenas in the 4-star basic arena not too long ago. And then with the 3-star feature core, you can see in all cases here the second round is lower than the first round. So concerning all this, here are my thoughts for round 2 predictions. Start first with the 5-star feature Korg. I think it's going to be a new all-time high. I think we're going to be looking at 60 million. We saw that for every single 5-star feature arena that was already high. That first round, that second round was always higher with a couple million in most cases. And I think in this case, that 57 is going to jump all the way to 60 million with the top 10% shard tier cut off at 12.3. Jumping over to the 4-star feature arena, I think, again, we saw increases. No reason to believe it's going to be different here. So I think we're going to go from 13.7 in the first round all the way to 14.2 million in the second, with the top 10% at 4.3 million. And then when we look at MODOK, I think we're going to see a slight increase, kind of similar to what we saw with Loki, and maybe I'm a little biased here with MODOK, but I think it's going to be a couple 100,000 higher from that 1.8 versus just to 1.9 or 2 million. I think it's going to go all the way to 2.1 million for that cutoff, and the 11.25% at 1.5 million. And lastly, for the 3-star feature Korg, I think that we can see that consistent second round for new champs right around 1 million to 1.1 million. And again, these are the cutoffs, so I try to be within 5 to 10%, and these predictions are for the veterans bracket, meaning your account's been open for over 61 days. And so those are where I think the predictions are going to fall. Here are my thoughts on actual grind targets, where you kind of want to drive the numbers to, just to give yourself some buffer in case there's an expected spike in the second round cutoff. So if you really want to go after Korg, you've already put 60 million in, you want to go to 62 million. If you want that 4-star feature Korg, go to 15 million. If you want that, make sure you get MODOK the second time around, go to 2.3 million. If you really want to make sure you get 3-star Korg, go to 1.1 million. Again, these cutoff grind targets are for the veterans bracket. When it comes to the beginners and the intermediate, again, I don't have a ton of data. Now, I will say there's been more and more folks here of late in the comment section giving me their results, so I would love to, for folks that are out there grinding the 3-star feature arena, would love to hear your results. Post them all up in the comment section, but unfortunately still don't have a significant amount to do any trend analysis, so here's some just rough ballpark figures based off of those numbers that folks are sharing, plus my own recent experience, which unfortunately isn't very recent, it's about a year old, so kind of outdated experience I think would be the better way to call it, which by the way seems to be the case because the most recent results have folks indicating that these cutoffs are lower. But anyway, just to give you, again, a rough ballpark, the good news is if these are all higher and you go to these numbers, you're going to get the champs, which is a good thing. But anyway, for the beginner's bracket, the 3-star feature Korg got around 240, 250,000. 4-star basic MODOK around 1 million. The 4-star feature Korg 1.1, 1.2 million. Now jumping to the intermediate bracket, meaning your account's been open from 31 to 60 days, you want to go to the 3-star feature Korg around 500,000 or so. 4-star basic MODOK 900,000 to 1 million. And for the 4-star feature Korg, 1.5 is a bit high, 1.3 to 1.4, maybe even 1.2 you'll get by. But anyway, these are my thoughts for the second round cutoffs for the beginners and intermediate brackets. And again, here are my grind targets as well as predictions for the veterans bracket. So anyway, these are my thoughts. If you have any questions or love to discuss them, especially if you have a difference of opinion, thumb on down into the comment section and we can discuss them there. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate if you take the time and mash that thumbs up button. And if you like this and other videos I have on the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, would really appreciate it if you do. Thanks a lot for stopping by and have a great day.